plaintiff, Brenda Caleb, and her granddaughter, Janelle, say Janelle dated the defendant. But Brenda's suing because she claims after an argument with Janelle, the defendant threw a rock at Brenda's car and smashed her window. Defendant Ethan Tyler Sutton says while dating Janelle, she often mentioned her ex, and then his friend showed him explicit videos that Janelle had posted of herself. Ethan insists his friend damaged the car, not him, so he doesn't know.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay, I don't know the defendant, Mr. Sutton, personally, as I only know of him through my granddaughter as they dated for a few weeks. But what I do know from what has been displayed is that he needs to take responsibility for his actions and needs to control his anger, along with understanding that violence is not the way to resolve a problem. As Janelle was the one that dated him, she can tell you more about him.
All right. Let me hear from you.
Hello, Your Honor. At first, the defendant, Mr. Sutton, seemed like very charming, sweet, a respectable Christian man. But like after seeing his true colors and how everything played out, it's been showing that, he's very volatile and he just doesn't think about his actions before he does them.
When did you start dating?
We started dating literally the day after New Year's, 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, I had just previously got out of a 2-year relationship less than a couple days prior to this.
Where did you meet?
We met on the online dating app.
Okay. And what made you think that he was a good person after meeting him?
He was really nice. He was treating me really well. From the beginning, I just felt as though I wanted our relationship to be built off trust.
All right. And where did you get this idea that he was a spiritual man or a Christian man? He told you that?
Yes. He not only told me that, but every time that he stayed over, we would pray together right before we go to bed every day. But in the morning, we would pray and think. We would just sit crisscross applesauce, having our hands held together, just praying about like how our day went, thanking God for, the blessings and, repenting for our sins. That's pretty much what we would do every time we hung out.
So every time you hung out, you had to repent about sex? Y'all have sex and then pray again? Y'all have sex and then pray again? You pray before sex.
Yeah, we're gonna sin.
We would pray throughout the day, and then.
But you said before you went to bed. No. You said before y'all went to bed, you would pray.
Yeah.
So I want to know what happened after you go to bed and you wake up in sin. What do you say then?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, we repent for those sins we would just create. Yes.
So you profess your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and then y'all went on and did your thing.
Mm-hmm. He's a forgiving God.
Say he's a forgiving God. When did you first meet in person?
We met in person probably like 2 days right after meeting on the app. It wasn't that long.
Okay. And how frequently would you all see each other?
We would try to see each other every day, if possible.
And when did you see things changing in him a little?
It literally happened the night of the incident. That's like when that whole big side of who he was came out.
What month was that?
The same month.
So is that within 2 weeks of meeting him?
Yes, literally 2 weeks of us meeting. He had asked me out to begin dating a week after meeting and just to start things slow. And the
he didn't change. He didn't change. He might not have changed. You didn't know him. You didn't know nothing about him. He was what he was when you met him, and he didn't switch because you didn't know him for 2 weeks. Let me hear from you, sir.
I don't know Miss Caleb as far as Brendan too well. I do know Janelle, as stated previous, that we was in a relationship. She came off as genuine and everything like that. but I started like noticing certain things. I started noticing that she would mention her ex a lot, and that was kind of giving me like red flags. But then I kind of was trying to give her like, you know.
In what capacity?
The
How would she mention her
Yeah.
ex? How? Well, how would that come up?
She was just mentioning like certain things they used to do. Eventually, one of my friends wound up showing me like a video of her, you know, doing some things that I really didn't think was like, you know, too, I guess you could say hot, explicit video.
Okay.
And I was kind of like a little appalled at first. And I really, after that, I was about to distance myself away from her. And in the same span of like 24 hours, she, you know, sends me a text while I was at work. And she says that she had like a pregnancy scare, pretty much like that she could be possibly pregnant by her ex. And I was very distraught.
So every time you hung out, you had to repent about sex? Y'all have sex and then pray again? Y'all have sex and then pray again?
Pray throughout the day, and then.
No, she said before you went to bed. No. You said before y'all went to bed, you would pray. So I want to know what happened after you go to bed and you wake up in sin.
Plaintiff Brenda Caleb and her granddaughter Janelle say Janelle dated the defendant, but he claims he wanted to end it after he discovered she had posted explicit videos of herself online.
Before we get to that, let me ask if she wanted to respond.
He's not relaying the whole truth.
Mm-hmm.
The whole truth is that we both partook into making explicit videos. And
Wait, who? Him?
I don't understand why he's saying that.
He was a
friend
part of
showed
it?
him.
He was a part
that,
of it?
Yeah, he took part. Like literally, I'm not proud of it, but there were certain things that I was doing that at the time, you know, I was doing it for a different source of income.
She said you were part of it.
I did partake in a video or two, but I was informed that there were videos prior to mine that were put out there, and I had no knowing on.
Well, who suggested you all do the video?
Honestly, it was her, but I definitely take responsibility on.
I'm just saying, you couldn't believe your ears then. This innocent young Christian woman, young lady. So this was something you had done before him, he said.
Yes, I had done this before him, and he knew about this. This is why it's shocking me that he's saying that he didn't know about this, because
he knew you had done
the
it before.
page of where all the stuff was on, and he was able to see all the stuff that was on my page.
All right, go ahead. What happened in this case that you're suing him for today?
I'm suing him for damages to my 2015 Lincoln MKC.
Mm-hmm.
He took a boulder and smashed the back windows out of my car. Janelle had borrowed my car for the day because she had errands to run. And she called me around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, indicating that Ethan had smashed the windows out of my car. And I proceeded to ask, why did he do that? Mm-hmm. And she said he was mad. I was talking to him about possibly being pregnant, and he just got angry, was texting someone, and next thing you knew, that incident occurred. So I immediately told her to call the police, to which is exhibit pages 1 and 2, to obtain a police report and to bring my car back up to me, because she lives in the Philadelphia area and I live in the Montgomery County, Norristown area. So I wanted my car back up to me because I didn't know whether any other incidences would occur.
What did the police say? What did they do?
The police report was written according to what the statement that Janelle had given, indicated that the complainant states that her ex-boyfriend came to her residence, and after a brief argument, he left the residence and then threw a rock through her back window. 2015 Lincoln MKC, and the male, and it indicates the male fled the area before the police had arrived. They arrived around 12:25 a.m. I believe that the incident occurred around 11:30, because I got the call a little after 11 or so.
What did the police do after that?
They just pretty much took my statement, and we were trying to at first settle it without going to court. So originally, after the incident happened, after I called the police and everything, my grandma got her estimate for the car. And I had his mother's phone number because he had used my phone one time to contact her. So because of that, I had just went down my call log and contacted his mother, and I told her like, hey, your son smashed my grandma's car. These are the estimates. And she was like, oh, he's an adult. He needs to handle this on his own. You need to talk to him. So I had proceeded to unblock his number, and I reached out, and I had got no responses about the estimate, nothing. So my grandma was like, well, if he's not going to respond, I'm just going to take him to court.
Police never follow up with an interview of him or anything?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Sir, let me hear from you on this.
I went to go speak to her. I wanted to pretty much get an understanding of what was going on, because I felt like details were very vague through text message. So I went to go talk to her, and I asked her,
why couldn't you talk on the phone?
Situation?
Why couldn't you talk on the phone?
Your Honor, I was at work.
But you were able to leave and go over.
I left right after I got off work at 11.
So why couldn't you call right after getting off work?
I wanted to speak to her in person, honestly.
What was that discussion about?
I asked her pretty much like why she didn't let me know about a situation that had went down with her ex-boyfriend, about them, I guess, being in relations and stuff. I asked her why she didn't tell me, if she could tell me anything else really about her ex, like different things. And she really didn't have a really solid answer. And she also stated that her grandmother and friends also told her that it was okay for her not to tell me any of this information, and that it was none of my business.
Okay, go ahead.
My friend got there. She immediately started telling her pretty much to come outside. She was telling her that she just wanted to talk, but really it seemed like the way that she was moving, she was angry. She wanted to do some violence.
How did your friend become involved in the argument?
I told her where I was at, Your Honor.
You told her to come and do what?
I told her that I was very upset, and honestly, I really didn't know exactly what to do. As a man, I don't want to really, it was just too much drama for me, and I really didn't understand really what was going on.
Okay. So when your friend got there, what happened?
She was basically telling Jonelle to come outside. She just wanted to talk, but of course she didn't. She wanted to, have some type of, I guess, altercation with her.
Who wanted to?
When Jonelle,
who wanted to?
My associate.
The person you called came over for a confrontation, and what did you do?
I didn't do anything.
You let it come. You called the person you knew came over there for a confrontation, and you sat back and allowed her to damage the property without trying to stop her at all. That's what you're telling me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. She said you were part of it.
I did partake in a video or two, but I was informed that there were videos prior to mine.
Well, who suggested you all do the video?
Honestly, it was her, but I definitely take responsibility on
I'm just saying, you couldn't believe your ears then. This innocent young Christian woman.
Plaintiff Brenda Caleb and her granddaughter Janelle say Janelle dated the defendant, but he claims he wanted to end it after he discovered she had posted explicit videos of herself online.
Why don't you think you should pay for the damage then? If indeed you called the person over there, the person came over there angry for your cause, the person became confrontational on your behalf, you sat there and watched it, you saw it getting violent, and you said nothing. You didn't say, back up, I got this. Don't do like that. Pardon? You what?
Actually, Your Honor, I did tell
you said you didn't. You just told me you didn't. You just told me you said nothing. All right. So, did the young lady show up?
Yeah,
or what happened there?
This is pretty much what happened. I was late on my period. I contacted him immediately. I told him, hey, I'm late on my period. I'm going to take a pregnancy test. I told him that the test resulted in negatively. And he was like, well, I'm at work. I will come over and we'll talk in person about it. That was all the text message stated. He came over And he's like, all right, tell me what happened. What did the test say? I told him that the test was negative. He wanted me to take another test just to confirm that it was negative. And then he was like, well, how could this happen? And I'm like, well, not only was it just on Christmas, me and my ex, yes, we were doing things to create a child. Because at the time it was a serious relationship. We did want a child. So I was ovulating on that day. And I was like, listen, we got to try real hard. So yes, that's the reason why all day on Christmas, that's what.
How old are you?
I am 22 years old.
Okay. A good Christian young lady, I got to keep going back because you kept bragging about that. A good Christian young lady planning, desperate, begging to have a baby before marriage. Not only having sex before marriage, but you're begging to have a baby before marriage. You're timing your ovulation. You wanted to have it real bad. Didn't you just say that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Grandma that? Did grandma know all that? Did grandma know all that? You bring grandma on TV. Did grandma know that?
I just got out of a divorce. So I've been married. I know the rules. I've been married. I tried with my ex-husband to have a child. It didn't work. I've been told my whole life that,
I'm not asking you about that. I'm just asking you why you did all that having professed to be such a Christian woman. I'm sorry. I'm not going to let people come in here Bible thumping, talk about how Christian they are, and then they go and tell me all of this stuff about how they ignore the scripture that they're quoting. They ignore the things that they come in here
I did not want Bible thump. I just told you my religion, and I told you
No, you told me about him. You said the reason I like him is because he is such a Christian man, and bragging about how you all stood around and prayed before you had sex. You don't think there's nothing wrong with that, do you? All right, so got it. That's why I'm making reference to that, because I don't want the other young ladies that are viewing who say that they're Christians to behave in this way. I want them to be accountable to the faith that they express. Otherwise, don't express it. Keep it to yourself, because you give a bad reflection on Christianity. You don't hear me coming here leading off the discussion. I deal with the Bible thumpers when they come, but I don't lead off with no discussion about how Christian of a man and I don't sin. In fact, I frequently now try and remind people that I am flawed like everybody else, as opposed to I'm a Christian and my wife is a Christian. I love Linda. I chose Linda because she was a Christian woman. No, I chose her because she was fine. Then I found out she was a Christian. I love the Lord.
That's a good one.
That's Mama. Mama know how. She know how to hoop. All right, you don't know about that.
No.
Yeah, y'all more like where I grew up as a Seventh-day Adventist.
We sing songs from the 400s.
I got to hear it. Praise the. You called the person over there. The person became confrontational on your behalf. You sat there and watched it. You saw it getting violent, and you said nothing. You didn't say, back up, I got this. Don't do like that, pardon?
Actually, Your Honor, I did tell
you said you didn't. You just told me you didn't. You just told me you said nothing.
Plaintiff Brenda Caleb and her granddaughter Janelle say Janelle dated the defendant, but he claims he wanted to end it after he discovered she had posted explicit videos of herself online.
Did he come over there with a woman, or did a woman then come over?
Oh, he came over by himself. We started talking about the situation, and he's like, well, how could you possibly be pregnant? And I told him that when I was with my ex that we were trying for a kid because I wanted a kid really badly. So the way I would be pregnant right now is because
I want to hear about that Christmas. You left that part out.
Huh?
You left that part out. You were particularly adamant and had sex all day on the day that Christ was born. On the day that Christ was born. That's
why I told him that Christmas would be the reason why I would be pregnant, because on Christmas I told him exactly what he said.
Had sex all day.
Did it all day, yes.
To celebrate the birth of Christ.
Yes, to create another birth.
What irony.
And nonetheless, tell me about a girl coming though.
Yeah, so as we're talking, he was trying to get his side in, and how he's like, why didn't you tell me about this? And I was like, well, I felt as though the intimate details of what goes on with my ex isn't something that I should tell you. And I also told my grandma about it, and I told a couple of my friends, and they said that that's none of his business. Why would he want to know exactly what you and your ex used to do? So then a couple minutes later, he's texting somebody on his phone, and then he proceeds to leave the room because he gets a phone call. A couple minutes later, he comes back in the room, he grabs all his stuff, and he spazzes out. He's like, you got me messed up. You trying to play me, play my emotions. You lied to me. All really hostile and angry. And I'm like, I never played you. I never cheated on you. I didn't do anything wrong. All I didn't do was tell you the intimate details of what went down. And that's not something for you to be getting angry over. But then I thought I de-escalated the situation. So then he proceeded, hey, can you walk me to the door? I was like, okay, I'll walk you to the door. I got up, walked him to the door. He was about to walk out without giving me a hug or a kiss. And I'm like, what's going on? You're not going to give me a kiss. You're not going to give me a hug. And so then he gave me a kiss, and then he walked out. And whoever this female was walked up to my door and said, oh, are you the whore of a chick? And I was like, excuse me, are you talking to me? And she's like, yes. And she repeated the same statement. And I was like, I don't know who you are. And I just closed my door, and I locked my door, and I called the cops. I said, I don't know who's outside, but there's this very volatile woman outside. When I went upstairs, I texted Ethan. I was like, Ethan, did you set that up? And he FaceTimes me with the female that came to the door with him in the video saying, come outside. And he was saying, Ethan was the one telling me to come outside to fight the girl. And I'm like, I'm not coming outside. It then took the female attempting to throw a rock inside of my roommate's room, which made my roommate go downstairs to open the door again to find out what was going on. And when I went downstairs, I told her, I was like, don't worry about it. Like, she's trying to cause a fight over something stupid, and I'm not fighting her because of this. Then she's like, if you don't come outside, I'm smashing your car in. And at the time, I didn't have a car. I said I didn't have a car. My roommate said she didn't have a car. But Ethan said, no, Nellie doesn't have a car. That's her grandma's car. That you could throw the rock in there. He completely directed her to where my grandma's car was, and he directed her to throw the rock inside the car, and she couldn't do it, so he finished it off.
Plaintiff Brenda Caleb and her granddaughter Janelle say Janelle dated the defendant, but he claims he wanted to end it after he discovered she had posted explicit videos of herself online.
Lucky the police didn't get involved. I believe her. You brought your friend. You admittedly brought her.
I did not. I did not touch a rock. I'm not going to say here. So I take responsibility for calling a young lady. Mm-hmm. You're right. I got that. I put that. I wear that on my back. Mm-hmm. I already talked to everybody that I know about that situation.
I was saying before you interrupted me, you're going to get off easy with paying this woman the money for the damage. $4,000. This is your judgment. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I ain't the perfect Christian. I didn't come over here to be Bible thumping. You wanted to bring up we was in a Christian relationship. You could go do that to try to add the angle. I'm going to just keep it a bean. I know what I did. I know it wasn't right. Miss Caleb, I'm talking to you. I'm not even talking to Janelle. I'm sorry for the damage that happened. You know what I'm saying? I did some assessment, and that definitely was my fault. Janelle, you know what part you played in, but I ain't even about to speak on that.
There's other ways to handle things, and the way you handled that was very immaturely. And I did try to solve this without taking you to court, but, you know.
Right, just like you harassed my mom and told her that you might have had rape. Okay.
You gave me, it wasn't you gave me that.
I didn't give you.
Yes, you did, because I had evidence to prove that you were the one that gave it to me.
Oh, yeah? Because I definitely got the test from Philly when I went to go get tested, and it definitely didn't have anything. So you had that.
Plaintiff Yui Marsh is a recovering alcoholic, and she claims she met the defendant in a detox facility. Yui says they became close friends until the defendant started verbally abusing her. Yui's suing him today for 2 unpaid loans. Defendant Joel Kelly says he thought he and Yui were dating, but he admits it fell apart as a result of his alcoholism and the abusive behavior that went along with it. Joel insists Yui is suing for more than he owes.
Start with you.
All right. First of all, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've been a functioning alcoholic for the past 15 years. And I actually met Joel at a...
What have you been doing in recovery? How long have you been in recovery?
I've been in and out of recovery, and the most I was able to put together was probably anywhere from 60 to 90 days in the past.
When did that start? When did you start? First?
So 15 years ago.
Okay. And how many times have you been to treatment in 15 years?
2 times.
When was the last time?
The last time would be approximately 2 years ago.
2?
Yes, that's
How long
correct.
did you stay alcohol-free, sober?
So my sobriety date is 12/27 of last year. And I'm currently sober. I work with a sponsor closely. I still do the steps. I go to 3 to 4 meetings a week, and I'm currently working closely with 2 sponsees.
Oh, you're going to make it. 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 And you're a great example of the work that needs to be done. And hey, folks, if you heard what she said and you hear it's a lot of work, how much work was it to hustle up on enough money to buy the dope or to buy enough alcohol to be an alcoholic?
Right.
That's work, too. I'd rather work getting clean than the work getting high and destroying my body, put it that way. Nonetheless, we're proud of you. Thank you for doing that and being a positive example. Where did you know the defendant from?
So I met him in a detox facility, and we
Wasn't a sex clinic, right? Wasn't sex rehab.
no.
Okay.
It was
You know
like
they
more-
have sex rehab.
Yes, it was more like a
been to it
hospital
3 times.
facility.
You've been to it 3 times. You're a dirty dog. I know you. And I think, however, they tell you guys in NA or I don't know about AA. I know a lot about NA because I've had a lot of people I've had to help with that, help through that process. But I know they tell you that you should not date
That's correct.
because you get emotions tied up, and that's a trigger also to a relapse. I bet y'all think I'm dope for as much as I know about it. And everybody think I'm on crystal meth. I'm on Percocets, I'm on Oxycontin, I'm on heroin, I'm on, what else dope I know about?
Pills.
Pills, yeah, I know crack for sure. I'm definitely a crackhead, much as I know about crack. All right, but I'm not, folks. I just know because I've been there and seen that and helped that, so, and still do. All right, so go ahead.
My heart, poured out to him because he has a son, and I have a son also under the same name. And then so that's where, this emotional connection started. However, his language eventually started getting abusive, and the gaslighting started. Page 4, he said that if you need to pay the bills and get a job and save your money like everyone else. I've never asked for a single penny, not even for my parents. And then I said, I do have a new job and a car. I'm a responsible person. He goes on to say, you know who else had a job and a car? Ted Bundy. So it makes me feel like I'm the crazy person, if you know what I mean.
Sir, you shouldn't be playing with those type of words. Let me hear from you. Give me some background and a little information on the relationship.
Well, I think to start by saying, obviously, Yui is a very beautiful, intelligent, generous woman. That's very clear. She's right. We did meet in a drug and alcohol rehabilitation program in approximately January 2020. We stayed friends. We got very close, just like she said, because of the similarity. We both have little boys, the same name. We stayed close the whole time. We were friends. And a year later, I felt like we were getting closer and starting to talk about having a relationship. I felt like we were dating because we would talk every morning. The language that we were using was, hey, baby. We would talk about things like future together, things like that.
You didn't consummate the relationship? Meaning having relations?
We did. We were physical. We were physical one time in that month of January, I believe.
How long did you all date?
In my opinion, I think it was probably about 4 weeks. Yeah, from the beginning of January till
only physical once.
Yeah, to where it fell apart towards the end of January, and that was due to my drinking. I'm also a recovering alcoholic, obviously, and I relapsed into drinking. And yeah, my behavior in respect and because of alcoholism, it was dishonest. My language was abusive.
Defendant Joel Kelly claims he and the plaintiff started dating after meeting in rehab, but he admits things fell apart as a result of his alcoholism and the abusive behavior that went along with it.
When did you relapse into the condition, into the state in which you were doing verbal abuse, engaging in?
I would say about the middle of January when I relapsed.
21?
Yeah, 2021, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so you went a year without relapse? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, sir.
So when you were cursing her out, was that the beginning or the end?
That was after the relationship had ended. I think that comment was made sometime in April or March.
Okay, so the breakup sounds like it might have triggered your relapse.
Could have.
And that's what they tell you guys in the NA and in AA. That's exactly why they don't want you to do it, because the breakup triggers a relapse. All right, sir, how you doing now?
I still struggle with drugs and alcohol. Well, alcohol mostly.
How many times have you been to rehab?
I've been to rehab in and out since I was 14, I would say more than a dozen times. Yeah, in and out of jail since then, and then finally found myself in prison because of alcohol abuse. Yeah.
Drugs? What type of drugs, though?
I've experimented with drugs, methamphetamines and things like that. I don't use drugs now. Yeah. It's my struggle is with alcohol, so I am part of that community.
And you've been 12?
12 inpatient rehabs before, yeah.
Yeah, the most I've heard is like 8. And I always talk about a person that, the person that I stood with for so many years, for like 25 years, I had to get him in rehab 7 times before it worked. 7. And so my goodness, 12 is...
I think so, yeah.
That's a lot, sir. And your last relapse was when? Or when is the last time you drank?
I've continued. I'm still
all right. So you need you need to go to the 13th time.
Well, I'm currently on a leave of absence from work, so that I can find a program and then get back involved.
Are you in one? Have you found one yet?
I'm probably going to go back to the one that we were in.
All right. Well, I'm going to make sure our staff follows up with you to make sure you get into a program. Because my goodness, 12 times though. What's the longest time you've stayed?
Sober?
No.
Oh, in treatment?
In-home.
I would say maybe 38 days. I stayed in sober living for 2 years. I was clean for 2 years in sober living program. So after I got out of prison, I was sent to sober living. So I did have that program.
Oh.
And we were part of that community of sponsorship.
I can't explain the relapses other than what I do know is stress and emotional issues and trauma sends folks to alcohol and drug addiction. That's all I know. All right, and let's get to the unpaid loans you're suing him for, because that's what you're ready to get to. You're like, I done heard all this. I done heard all this 1,000 times. I go to NA or AA every week. You don't have to keep telling me that. That's how she's doing.
Yeah.
Can we get to my case? So yes, we can. I'm sorry. Your loans that he owes you for. Tell me what months that you loaned the money to him, and when did he agree to repay? What dates?
So the first time I lent him the money was in January of this year.
How much? You all right over there? You all right? Grab her, grab her. Thank God. All right, we're going to go ahead and turn this for another time.
We'll get you some water, miss.
Ooh, thank God.
Court is back in session. Please remain seated.
All right, welcome back, Ms. Marsh and Mr. Kelly. You know, we had to adjourn the case. The because of an emergency that we were able to tend to. So thank you, and here we are again. You all don't think I can remember from yesterday, but I can. And last we were talking, you were explaining the loans that you're suing him for $1825.
Yes, Your Honor. So in January, I loaned him $1525, and he specifically told me that was for family law attorney fees.
When would he pay?
There was no specific contract or anything,
Okay.
but I was under the impression that he would make the initiative to start paying me back, like, in the near future.
All right. And what did happen?
It never really happened, and I never heard from him, like, regarding the money. And then so that's why I had to ask him, and things kind of got screwy from after that.
Defendant Joel Kelly claims he and the plaintiff started dating after meeting in rehab, but he admits things fell apart as a result of his alcoholism and the abusive behavior that went along with it.
Sir, what do you say to this? The 1525.
The 1525 it was for, she did send that to me. I have evidence, so I direct you to page 1 of the
I
Venmo
believe
transaction.
she says it, and if you say she did, we don't need to look at any evidence.
She did send that to me. It was for family law, for a custody case. There was no specific contract written, and I can actually direct you to page 8 of the text, where I suggest that I say that yes, my attorney is still available. If you want to drop a loan agreement, I'm sure you could download a generic one, and I give her the amount of $1525 I need for the retainer.
What page is that?
It was page 8.
What'd she say?
She said, I believe in you as a father. I think that you're a good dad, and I'm going to give this to you because I know that you need help.
Let's see.
That was the verbal conversation.
I'm trying to look. And that's enough. Verbal is enough. Good morning. If you want to draw up a loan, just like you said, we can. You are so awesome, you say. Meant to send it out. Where's all this? You a great father, you don't have to pay me. What page is that on? That's what I'm looking for.
The pay, I don't have to pay her?
Pardon me?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question, Your Honor.
You said I was supposed to read something.
Oh, I was just directing I was saying where I suggested that we make a loan agreement, and then I wanted to direct you to page 6, whereas this is the first time I've ever heard of any type of repayment.
You had told me you had something where she said you were a great father, and therefore...
No, that was a verbal agreement. That was the verbal between her and I.
So what is it you wanted me to read that made a difference in this case?
Where I suggested that we make a loan agreement, and then further on, nothing was ever mentioned about it. There was no response saying, okay, let's make an agreement.
Okay, but
and then
we know you wasn't offered to make an agreement for a loan if you didn't make one. You made an agreement, so why didn't you pay her?
I was simply asking if she wanted to make a loan agreement.
Right, because that's an assumption that you owe them.
And it was trying to be in good faith, but verbally she said it was a gift. Yeah.
You double talking yourself. You ain't even double talking me. You're double talking yourself. Let's make this quick. $1,825. He's confused, or he's trying to confuse me.
No.
Have a good day.
I think everybody deserves, like a happy destiny, the sobriety. And I'm so proud that, you have the courage to try to, stay sober and stuff. So
right.
I really, that's the wish for you.
Thank you, Yui. I'm sorry this happened. $1,500 is not worth the price of a friendship or any kind of relationship. It's not the money.